How you doing, guys? This is Mark from Cars and Cameras, and today we're going to take a quick look at the Panasonic LX100. This is another 4K camera. I'm kind of going crazy reviewing these 4K cameras. I've also been testing the FZ1000 for the past couple months, and I'll give you my thoughts on that kind of mixed in with this review. And basically, these cameras are really exciting. The 4K on them is really outstanding. I really like this little camera because it's so small, and it's like one of the smallest 4K cameras you're going to get. And the only downside is to it that I like cameras that have really strong zooms, and this zoom on this camera is only a 24-70, and which isn't bad. But I wish it had a little bit more reach. But what I do like about it is the fast lens. When you're on the 24 millimeter wide angle lens end of the lens, you're at a 1.7 stop, and that's really good for low light. The image sensor is micro four thirds, and it's a similar sensor like you'd have in the GH4, but it's a little bit different from my understanding. I'm not going to really get into that, those technical details. I just like to get into hands-on. How does the camera work? I don't really like to compare things, back and forth. You can compare things back and forth until you're blue in the face, but what I like to do is, kind of real-world, testing of these things. And I can tell you from using this camera, for the past 45 days that it works very, very well. Yes, the low light capability of this camera is not as good as a Sony A7S, and it's not going to be, because it's not an A7S. It's a $899 LX100, and but it does have, it doesn't have interchangeable lenses, but, it's a nice metal body. It's small and it's compact. And, no, it doesn't have, audio in. No, I don't believe you can record an external monitor with this. I believe it shuts down. You can't record externally with this. But what it does have is it has the ability to record Ultra HD and 24p and 30p, and it records at 100 megabits per second. It has that really high bit rate to record at, and it gives you a nice viewfinder here, and it also gives you a nice viewfinder on the back of the camera. Yeah, it's not the greatest viewfinder, but you have to understand the price point of this camera. But what it does do is it shoots very good video. Like I said, it's a cool little camera. I'll turn it on here so you can kind of get a look at it. That's what it looks like with the lens extended. It's very easy to set up and use. It focuses really quick. You can see there, on the back of the screen, it's very close to the, extremely close. It has really good, macro shooting properties. It's a real simple camera. This is a great first 4K camera if you just kind of want to get into it. The FZ1000 is also, the main difference between the two cameras, they're very, very similar. The main difference is that this camera is a little bit better in low light because of the faster lens. Not to discount the FZ1000 that I'll talk about in another review, but both of the cameras are quite good. I will tell you the build quality on this camera is a little bit better. The FZ1000 is quite plasticky, but like I said, the picture quality of the two cameras are really close. But one thing you cannot deny is that putting this thing in your coat pocket, this thing is tiny, and you can see it here. It's a little itty bitty camera. It's really small. It's got great battery life. I just used it to film my daughter's Christmas recital, and I got to tell you that I really thought the battery wasn't going to make it all the way through. It did. It worked really fantastic. Things you're not going to find on this camera is, no, it does not have an external microphone input. No, it does not have a headphone jack. But that's where you'll use things like, the Tascam that I reviewed in one of my other reviews that you can use along with this camera. Also, you can look at my other review using this camera with the Tascam DR60, I believe. And you can see how there are solutions, how you can use one of these cameras. And like I said, all in all, this is a fantastic little camera. And, this was just a quick look at it. I'll show you a little bit of video so you can kind of get an idea. But it's great in all situations. It's really kind of a do everything camera. It's quite cool. And what I like about it is, like I said, look how small it is. I mean, this thing is tiny. And, you're shooting Ultra HD. This is a great B camera, for somebody just getting into 4K. This is a great little A camera to kind of get yourself, set with it. The great thing about a camera like this for $899 is that, basically if you look at my other reviews, you can pick up a camera like this for $900. For another 100 and something, you can get the Tascam external recorder. So, like, for a little over $1,000, you are set up with, external, sound recording options for a little over $1,000, and for another $699, you got yourself a new Mac Mini, so you can edit the 4K, and another $300 for the Final Cut X software. I think it is $299 now, and so. For a budget, you are in business and you are doing 4K, and then another $450, sometimes as low as $379. You can pick up like the 4K monitor that the Samsung that I showed in another review. So for, like I said, a real budget, you can get yourself into using one of these cameras. And that's a quick look at the Panasonic LX100.